Hello, everyone. I wanted to come on today and talk about the new report that just came out about third-party games on Nintendo Switch 2. And the report, as you can see on the screen, that third-party launch games sold at very low numbers. And I wanted to come on and talk about my thoughts on why this may be, and is it something that Nintendo needs to concern themselves with? I'm going to explain my thoughts on why launch games on the Switch 2 flopped, and does it have anything? And also, you got to address the keycard situation in this situation as well. And just to talk about this, so first, I want to talk about the keycard situation because I do think this has a major impact on this situation. So, those of you who don't know what a keycard is, a keycard is essentially the cartridge with a download key on it. It's not a true physical game. It just has a key that redirects you to the Nintendo eShop to download your game. And I've thought about in the last. I've had some thoughts about the keycard situation because I think it has some benefit, but it doesn't. But for the most part, it really doesn't make sense for most things. Like games that are over 64 gigabytes, which reportedly Nintendo's only offering two types of cartridges for the Switch 2 at the moment, which is the 64 gigabyte cartridge and the key card. And I think the key card is a good option for developers over that are their games over 64 gigabytes. Like the next when we have Madden, the next Madden announced, that's going to be well over 64 gigabytes, and obviously, I think that's a good. That's going to be on a key card, obviously, and it gives options for some other games to be brought to the platform. Like whenever Microsoft ends up bringing Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch 2, that's going to be a. It's going to be on a key card. Those are a big amount, a huge amount, and but with the key card situation, I think we need to talk about the price because reportedly, as we said with the rumors that have came out about the keycard situation, that two of these, that the 64 gigabyte cartridge is the only one that they're offering, and that costs upwards of around $16 to $17. I've seen a few different numbers, but between the $15 and $20 range from what I've read, and that's actually a lot of. If you're a developer, that's a lot of money on top of the 30% that you're already spending, that Nintendo already takes out of your profit that you're making on a game, then adding more onto that. It's no wonder that companies are like, oh yeah, we're going to opt for the key card, and that's on Nintendo. That's a complete failure on Nintendo's part, and I think that's one of the big things that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to expand a little bit and be able to offer different card sizes for some of these games. Like have a 32 gigabyte option, a 16 gigabyte, an 8 gigabyte option. Options for these developers to be able to put their games physically on the system. Like for example, I picked up Bravely Default Remastered on the Nintendo Switch 2, and that game's only 11 gigabytes. It's not really feasible to throw that on a 64 gigabyte cartridge. Luckily, this is priced at pretty decently at $40, so it's not They're not trying to charge 60 or 70 bucks for it, but that's just an example that would help for like a 16 gigabyte card or an 8 gigabyte card that Nintendo could offer. But another option within this, well, another indication on why some of these launch games could have sold low numbers is just the games themselves. Like a lot of these Switch 2 games were very third party Switch 2 games are games that have been on the market for a decent amount. Decent amount. Um if you if we look at Nintendo's launch lineup, we go over here, obviously Mario Kart War, Donka, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. Now, from what I've heard, this is the best. This is the best selling physical third-party game, and ironically, this is one of the games that's fully on the cartridge. So, but again, this is a 5-year-old. This is a 5-year-old game that's been out. Well, if you account for the Phantom Liberty DLC, it's a little bit newer, but the base game is still a pretty old game, and you can get it cheaper, and you can get it cheaper on other platforms. You also have Split Fiction just came out not too long ago. Street Fighter 6 has been out for a year or two now, I believe. But that's another game that's been out on other consoles and is cheaper on other consoles. Hogwarts Legacy, that game was available on the original Nintendo Switch, and I personally bought this on Steam for around $25 about a year ago. I haven't looked at recent prices, but that's an option. And then Yakuza Zero. Now, this is an odd one because this game's been out for a while. It's been out. I've seen it go on sale for as low as $5 on PlayStation and Xbox. But this does have the addition of a English voice cast and stuff like that. So it's a lot of these games are older. The Room Factory is another game that this is a brand new game, and from what I'm seeing, it's selling decent, but it's also Room Factory is also kind of a niche series. Very good, and it's a game I plan to pick up in the future. And this is a game that was on the cart, but they are charging $70 for it. And a lot of these games are older, and they're older and they're set, and you can get them cheaper on. And because they're older, they've already gone on sale on other platforms, whether that's PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, and you can get them cheaper on there. Plus, no offense to the Switch 2, but you're going to get a better experience on those other consoles. They're going to run better. The main selling point of Switch games in general has always been the portability. But if you're someone who doesn't care about the portability, you can get it cheaper on one of the other consoles, and you can get a better running game on the other consoles. So I think that's another big part of this. Now the question is, should Nintendo be concerned about this? Because it isn't new that Nintendo's had some issues with. Isn't new that Nintendo's had issues in the past with third-party support on the platform. On some of their consoles, the Wii U was plagued with this issue, and we saw a lot of it. N64, GameCube had these issues. The Switch kind of turned this around, and we're starting to see good support at first. But should Nintendo be concerned? Because let's be honest, if a lot of these third-party games continue selling bad on the Nintendo Switch 2, some of these developers may take it as, well, maybe we should stop focusing development on Switch 2 and focus our development on the three other platforms, being Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Personally, right now, I don't think Nintendo should be like panicking over this situation. I don't think they're going to lose third party support overnight, obviously. But I do think they need to start having some sort of discussion about this. Not panicking, but having a discussion and finding ways to help bring third party support to the platform and garner that. And I think that starts with what I was saying earlier about making key cards, making more options for developers to put their games physically on the system. Because right now, it's not economically feasible for developers, especially if you're a smaller developer or a developer who's has a game that's probably not going to sell at a higher price tag. It's not economically feasible to put these games on physically on your console. And I think that's an issue. And we've seen an outcry of people talking about it, and I think it's time for Nintendo to come forward about this and make some sort of statement. And because I feel like if this continues over the course of a year, we very well may be having a conversation about, is Nintendo third party developers abandoning the Nintendo Switch 2. But I just wanted to come on and give my thoughts on the situation. I don't think it's anything to kind of go to panic about, but I also think it's something that's worth talking about and mentioning, because it very well could show it very well could turn into a grim future for Nintendo in Nintendo and third party developers on the Switch 2 in the near future. Hope everyone has a great day, and